Imagine, after defeating Dr. Monty with the help of the Shadow Man, you then have the opportunity to destroy the Shadow Man before he double crosses us with the help of Ultimus Invictus AI bots, similar to the Richtofen AI bot that spawns in Blood of the Dead if you're not playing as him, only if you've done all previous Ether quests in Black Ops 4. This may or may not require Classified's ending as a prerequisite for this alternate boss and or ending cutscene. Whether or not this potential super Easter egg will be as extensive as Infinite Warfare's bonus boss fight and extra cutscenes, or whether or not the reward will be as underwhelming as a sticker, is purely speculation at this point in time. Enjoy the video, everybody. What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be discussing the super Easter egg within Black Ops 4 Zombies. Now, I know you guys might be thinking, what super Easter egg? We haven't even hit DLC 2 yet, but this is where some very strong speculation comes into play. So first and foremost here, in terms of the Ether and Chaos storylines, there will most likely be a separate super Easter egg for the Chaos storyline, depending on how many Chaos maps released by the end of Black Ops 4's life cycle. And Black Ops 4's life cycle may in fact end during its second year of life, maybe even a third, depending on how long Activision wants to keep Black Ops 4 active. But what I will say is, if we only get, let's say, 4, maybe 5 Chaos maps, the reward for doing all of them will probably end up being a sticker or a calling card or something very minimal. But if we end up getting 10 plus Ether maps, you can almost guarantee there will be a super Easter egg reward for doing all of them. And that could of course include the remakes in a potential Zombies Chronicles 2. But let's actually discuss the possible rewards themselves for a super Easter egg. So we know in Black Ops 1 it was more of a gameplay thing. When we did Moon after completing Call of the Dead and Shangri-La, you were able to do a second Easter egg, which was known as the Big Bang Theory. And if you didn't do Call of the Dead and Shangri-La, then you could only do Cryogenic Slumber Party, and it was a cool reward for doing the previous Easter eggs. You know, you had a prerequisite for the super Easter egg on Moon, and I thought that was pretty cool. You know, it was a gameplay thing. It only lasted for that one game, of course, and you could of course do it again later, but I thought it was epic, and I think a lot of other people thought that as well. But when it came to Black Ops 2, this is where things changed just a little bit. So within the map Buried, there was a very specific button that you can click which would activate an endgame, and that endgame could be clicked on either Maxis' side or Richtofen's side, depending on what Easter eggs you did in Transit and Diarize, and then of course Buried. And while that was a really cool system, I do believe the nav card system as a whole was going to be a lot more detailed. It was going to have more to it than just the reward we got within the Buried endgame, but obviously due to hardware limitations and due to time restrictions, they couldn't have made that super Easter egg any more detailed or any more rewarding. So when you do the endgame on Buried with Maxis' side, you of course get the orange eyes and the zombies again, indicating that Maxis is in control, and you will of course have an occasional zombie with blue eyes, which will always drop a power up if you kill him. Now within Richtofen's endgame, you got a little bit more of a reward in the sense that you get a permanent fire sale and you're able to hold 4 weapons while Richtofen takes control of Samuel Stuhlinger's body. You can notice he has blue eyes. So pretty cool rewards for doing that. The only unfortunate part is that once that game ends, the reward is gone. In order to get that reward again, you'd have to do the Easter eggs in order from Transit, Diarize, and Buried. And when I mean in order, I mean the order of the side that you chose. You could do Diarize, Buried, and Transit, then go click the button, but it has to be in order of that specific side, so either Richtofen or Maxis. So I think a way to improve that super Easter egg would have been to allow some type of long-term reward after doing all of them, instead of just having those rewards for that one game when you click the button. And obviously when you click the button, it reset your Easter egg progress, which means you'd have to go ahead and redo the Easter eggs on that specific side for the 3 the Victus maps. Now, within Black Ops 3, there were some very high expectations. We had people in the community, people on Reddit, hyping up this so-called super Easter egg with little to no evidence to support it. Now, you guys might be thinking, well, isn't that what you're doing in this video? But no, I think the point of this video is to really just kind of open your eyes and look at all sides of the spectrum in terms of what a super Easter egg could be within Black Ops 4 Zombies based on what we know so far and based on what we received in the past. So in Black Ops 3, for doing all the Easter eggs, you'd get your hands on an RK5 every time you spawn in, so that's going back to that long-term reward I was talking about, something you'd get in every single game, and you'd of course get a really nice calling card, and if I remember, you actually get 2 calling cards for doing the Revelations Easter egg, but you guys could correct me down below in the comments. But other than that, that was it. That's all you got for doing all Black Ops 3 Easter eggs, despite all this crazy hype and rumor of a second cutscene in Revelations, rumor of another boss fight. After all that, that's all we got. So what we could say is the expectations weren't exactly met due to specific people on Reddit and in the community hyping up something that didn't really exist. Blundell also confirmed later on Zombros, later when he got interviewed, that they never had plans for another cutscene in Revelations or a super Easter egg boss fight or some other crazy reward. They wanted to keep it very minimal. Since the Gobblegums themselves were very overpowered, they couldn't really think of any other way to reward players with something even better for doing all Easter eggs. Now, going on to Infinite Warfare, which is obviously an Infinity Ward project, they had a crazy super Easter egg which kind of made fans look at super Easter eggs a lot differently, in the sense that if you did all of them, you'd unlock Director's Cut, you'd unlock a super Easter egg boss fight, a different cutscene. They essentially provided what fans wanted within Black Ops 3. So if anything, if you're not an Infinite Warfare fan, they pretty much rewarded players in the wrong game, since most people wanted that within a Treyarch game. So maybe, just maybe, Treyarch is looking back at what Infinity Ward did with Infinite Warfare and their super Easter egg, and they might adapt to something very similar. But all in all, with the way Treyarch's been lately, it doesn't seem like they're keen on providing fans exactly with what they want. They kind of want to take that to another level, take a twist on what the fans actually want, and do something that they think is a lot better for the longevity of the game. But I do think, in terms of reward for Black Ops 4 Zombies, this could be pretty controversial. Now, first, there could be a trophy for it. Like with Black Ops 1 Moon, there was a trophy known as the Big Bang Theory, but for some apparent reason, this was only available on Xbox Live back then. Even if you did the Big Bang Theory Easter egg or the Super Easter egg on PS3, you wouldn't get an achievement or a trophy for it, but you could still do it. Within Zombies Chronicles and that version of Moon, I thought it was a huge missed opportunity that they didn't go ahead and provide a new achievement / trophy for doing the Big Bang Theory, and instead it just got rid of it completely, and Zombies Chronicles just is what it is. It did not have a trophy for doing the super Easter egg on Moon when you blow up the Earth. And once again, missed opportunity. Maybe they wanted to stay extremely similar to the original in terms of how the achievements worked. I get that, but I said the same thing with Ascension. They still should have added an achievement for it. It would have been a perfect opportunity to slide that in for the remaster. But I think for a super Easter egg within the DLC 4 map, let's say it's the Great War, there should be a hidden achievement for doing it. It would allow a lot more people to do it. It would encourage more people to do it, and it would bring more attention to this big reward for doing all Easter eggs. And if there is an achievement for it and people do want to go for 100% on DLC 4 in terms of their achievements, it would also drive more fans back to some of the launch maps like Blood of the Dead, maybe even Classified if that's required. And that leads me into the next point, which is whether or not there will be specific prerequisites for an actual super Easter egg in Black Ops 4. So this is the controversy I'm talking about. If Classified is required and it is a prerequisite, it is forcing players to go to around 150 to get their hands on whatever this super Easter egg reward is. And that's going to be a problem, because let's say the super Easter egg reward is going to be you spawning in with a certain amount of points or a pistol. You know, it might not be that bad, but if it's a very cool Mastercraft camo, if it's this achievement on DLC 4, an actual trophy, then it would drive fans insane. You know, there would be a huge amount of controversy, and my idea for how this could be fixed is to lower the round that the Classified cutscene is on. So I think the most obvious solution to this would be putting the cutscene around 115. it's a round that you can get to. It really is. Let's say that's using a glitch, let's say that's playing legit, you could get to around 115, even 100, let's say. That's manageable, but maybe there could be some bonus weekends like we have with Blackout and multiplayer where you have exclusive events every now and then. Maybe you could have one for zombies where for 1 weekend or 2 weekends only, you can get the cutscene on round 50. I'd say a lot of people would take advantage of that and go ahead and try it. That would just be a cool idea. You guys can let me know what you think of that down below in the comments, but what's sad about the classified cutscene is, even with glitches, and this is someone who's done many glitches on classified, even with glitches, your game crashes past around 130. Now with the mutations glitch that got patched, unfortunately, you were able to get to around 150 in around 4 hours just by killing dogs. But with other glitches like AFK spots, unlimited specialist glitches, you'd be in a game for 12 plus hours, you'd be on around 130 and your game would just blue screen no matter what. And I think at this point, it just looks like the game just can't handle high rounds no matter what you do, based on one of the previous patches that this game has. It just won't allow to go any farther, and we haven't figured out a way to get to round 150 at the time of making this video, even with glitches, so it's gonna look really weird if the super Easter egg does require classified as a prerequisite. But I do think even for the hardcore Easter egg hunters, even for the hardcore high rounders, round 150 for a cutscene is a bit too much considering the stability of Black Ops 4. If the stability was perfect in this game, then that 100% justifies going to round 150 just to get that completion on your name. But if they do end up requiring it, which I do think they will, because there is legitimately no point in making a completion with classified if they wanted to add a really cool reward for high rounders. If they just wanted to have a cutscene there for the sake of storyline, they wouldn't have considered it a completion, and instead they would have put Project Scatty as the completion for this map. There would have been no reason to actually put a completion for doing the cutscene if it wouldn't matter down the line. There's just no point. But I do think there could be separate rewards for a super Easter egg. There could be one for doing legitimately all the Ether quests, including classified. It could be a really cool Mastercraft camo, which I think is the most reasonable reward that you can use in any game mode. It could be a specific skin or an outfit for one of the characters in the Ether story, and then maybe for doing all Easter eggs but classified, you'd get something else. You just never know. Or it could be the other way around. Maybe you get the really cool reward, the one that's meaningful, by doing all quests but classified, since that's what most people are going to actually achieve by the time DLC 4 comes out. And then you can have maybe that small sticker or calling card for doing all quests and the classified 150. That seems reasonable. You guys can also let me know what you think of that concept with a super Easter egg. I just think there are many ways they can approach this, but I think in terms of the reward itself, which you don't know much about at this time, they probably did take notes after looking at what Lee Ross did with Infinite Warfare. But I do think all in all, it should be a long-term reward. I think Black Ops 1 and 2 are on the right path with how you can handle prerequisites and super Easter eggs, but the only problem with those is that those rewards only lasted for that one game, or that aesthetic and that gameplay feature was only in that single match that you played and will get reset when you end the game. So I think a long-term reward like Black Ops 3 would make all the difference, but something along the lines of the hype that the Mephistopheles Easter egg boss fight had within Infinite Warfare would be what Treyarch should do within Black Ops 4 Zombies. But that's about it for the super Easter egg discussion. In terms of whether or not it will include classified is up to Treyarch. I definitely think it will to some capacity, but there might be separate rewards for doing all quests plus classified and just all quests minus classified. But that's about it. Check all links down below in the description and stay tuned in for more Black Ops 4 Zombies coverage, news, and information. Peace out, everybody.